Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another episode here in our Windbound playthrough, episode number 5. And unfortunately, this episode is gonna be a little bit different. I recorded episode 5 just like every other episode, and when I went to go edit this episode, the audio file had completely corrupted. It was completely unusable, disgusting, hideous. It sounded like I was at the bottom of the ocean talking in a walkie-talkie to SpongeBob and Patrick. It was not good. It was really not good. So I don't know exactly what happened there, but pretty much what I'm gonna be doing is going through and trying to, do like a little commentary over the gameplay that I did record for chapter 5, because I do believe that it is crucial to the final episodes of this game for you guys to get this information before we move on to episode 6 and maybe 7 and whatever else we have in this journey from here. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into this episode, shall we? So first things first, you guys can tell here that there are definitely some major upgrades to our boat. We got a new sail, a wooden sail. I ended up getting 2 bag racks here. You guys can tell on the screen right here. We've got the food bag here, which dramatically increases the amount of time that your food is able to be consumed. It delays the decomposing process. So that was a must for me, because I was tired of getting food and having to eat it when it was just going bad super quickly. So that was a good investment. And then this other one is just another heavy bag that is basically the biggest bag that we have in the game right now. So we could just kind of throw it and fill everything up. I'd rather use that instead of the bamboo containers, because it only holds 5, whereas the heavy bag holds 18. We ended up getting a wood base, and I think that's pretty much it. And so now here, I think we're gonna be making the Tempest Bow, which is essentially almost like a lightning bow. If you guys remember, in the last episode, we ended up mining. We did our first little mining adventure, and we got the Storm Eye gem or something like that, and we're able to make this sweet looking bow. And later on in the episode, it's actually gonna be very crucial that we do have this bow, because at this point in time, we ended up having 2 bows, but now we had the Tempest Bow, and look at this sweet little effect that has when you charge it up, man. It's so cool. And the bow does do a little bit less of base damage, but overall, I think it does more, because it has like a shocking effect that lingers for a little bit. And now we're in the middle of the ocean here, and I'm trying to show you guys something that I saw previously when I was out exploring, and that was what I believe is called hook jaw. I think it's a giant shark, and right on cue, baby. Oh my God, look how massive that thing is, man. It's so terrifying. Look at him just swimming beside us. Hook mouth, excuse me. And you guys can tell that he has an insane amount of health. And he's one of the most terrifying creatures I think we have seen. The Glue Marl is rather terrifying, but it's on land, and we can traverse on land. Whereas in the water, it's not exactly always that easy. And for some reason, he decided after he got that one Tempest arrow in his side that he didn't want to come mess with us. So I guess we out-alpha'd the hook mouth. But I assume something with the hook mouth gives us some kind of special ingredient, crafting material, something. Because, I mean, that's the first one we've seen. So there has to be something that it gives us that is very unique and special, unlike anything we've probably seen in the game. And what that is, who really knows, as I go capsizing in the middle of a damn storm, dude. What are you doing, inverted? Get your ass out of there, buddy. Come on. This is the time right here where I was really glad that I ended up getting a wood sail. Because if that wasn't the case, we were gonna be in trouble, for sure. But thankfully, we skedaddled on out of there. We hightailed our asses on out of there. And you guys can also probably tell that the speed increase that we have with the sail and the surface area that this sail has is rather nutty. And I also believe that we have activated all 3 of the Nautilus beacons at this point, so we are going to the Nautilus hub as these little crabs are trying to fling on me and attack my boat. Get the hell out of here, man. But yeah, we're just kind of do the same old, go see the mighty Nautilus, pray to the gods, and see what else has in store for us. One thing, too, that I figured out in the last episode was that the anchor automatically gets deployed whenever you leave the boat. So there's no need to actually, there's not like a button you have to hit to activate it or drop it and or raise it. All you have to do is just leave the boat and it automatically drops for you. So that's a cool feature. One that it did actually tell us, so I definitely take the blame for that and not the game. It did actually tell us. I just didn't read the fine print, so that one's on me. And so now we're gonna start making our journey up to the mighty Nautilus. And you guys have seen this so much, so we're just gonna go ahead and go up to the top. Same old, oh mighty Nautilus. Please bestow me with your blessing. Wow. And unfortunately, because of the way that this is all, with my audio being corrupted, this episode is probably going to be incredibly short. So I do apologize for that. But there is one very crucial thing that I figured out here. So throughout these paintings, right, as you guys can see, the third painting here, you can see the Nautiluses, or the sea snails. I don't really know the best thing to call them, but Nautilus, I don't know how you say that plural. They started attacking the humans. And it was at this moment right here that I think I finally had a light bulb appear above my head, and I finally started to figure out what the story was all about. So you guys can tell in the very first painting here, they were praising the Nautilus. They were praising. And then in the second, it was called the Great Famine. So they obviously ran out of food here while they're praising the fish. And so they turned to eating the snails and the Nautiluses. Not a lie. I don't really know what to call it. And then in the third, the chapter was called the Great War. And so they finally said, enough of your shit, humans. We've had it. And they started fighting back. So I feel accomplished in the fact that we kind of figured that one out. And, maybe maybe that was really obvious to some of you watching, and maybe I'm just stupid, but it was cool for me. It was a really revelational moment for me where it all kind of clicked and pieced together, and I finally felt like I understood a tiny bit of what was actually going on in this world. And so now we're gonna get on the boat and we're gonna do the same kind of sailing and getting through this little area. I do believe we see a little bit more of the almighty Nautilus himself here, though. Oh no, we actually see him he raises his tentacles up, which is really spooky, man. And this is where I'm starting to think like maybe he's not gonna be, or she is not gonna be so friendly towards us, because I feel like the Nautilus may actually be a final boss in this game, and that would be rather scary and daunting, because the hook mouth, we already saw how much health it had, so I could only imagine what the Nautilus would have in terms of health. So it's only time will tell, I guess. Hopefully we won't have to do this for any more episodes, as the audio won't be jacked to hell, but these things happen. And then we finally get to the offering stand, and there's a new offering here. Neckla's Rage. Denied the peace of the great descent and stunned from the warm waters of the Isles of Plenty. Nekla, the undying swam of the frozen north, slowly succumbing to madness. This day at night, you can still hear her screaming her curses to an indifferent moon. A powerful force able to knock enemies off of their feet, which is honestly incredibly cool. But if you guys can tell, it does say that it's a 2-bar, essentially. It has 2 little things next to it instead of 1. So we go ahead and get the Neckla's Rage. And then when we go to make the offering, we essentially have to choose. We only have 2 slots for our offerings. And I guess that's what the offering was for the second, was being able to get that second slot, which is, I don't personally like that idea. I think it's kind of cheap that you're doing that. It's kind of lazy. So the first time you go through, you get something incredibly cool, and then the second time you go through, it's like, oh, well, if you want to get something else cool, you need to unlock the extra slot. So it's just like, it's just watering down the content in the game, and I didn't really like that. But thankfully, we did make ourselves the Tempest Bow, so that'll become our new main bow, and we have Neckla's Rage to rely on. So then we move on, and we're going into the giant space ancestral butthole, and we get put into a whole new world. Chapter 4, The Tipping Point. Which, if going back and thinking about how the story's been written to this point, clearly the Nautilus are very upset at the humans for what they've done. They have experienced betrayal. And they used to be a god and a deity to these people, but now the humans said, fuck you. I'm coming after that ass, and then all said, no, we're not gonna allow that. And so I got a feeling that something's crazy is about to happen, or maybe there's some kind of reconciliation here. That, you know, it's the tipping point. Usually the tipping point, to me personally, doesn't signify anything good. But maybe it's a tipping point in a good way. But normally a tipping point is you know, we've been pushed over the edge, and it's all out mayhem from this point. So it's the gameplay is more the same. I don't believe at this point we actually find any new creatures. I think there's just a couple of Gorehorns on here, some more of the same stuff. Yeah, I don't believe there's actually anything new. But I will show you guys me using the Tempest Bow here, pretty cool. I love the animations with the charge up, with the colors of the purple, and the sound effects that it's making is honestly really cool. And you move pretty quick with it, honestly, while you're ADS, which is nice. The speed on it, and the range. I mean, look at that shot on that little razor bub. That guy stood no chance. And then obviously the animations and the colors that happen when you do hit your target. Like right there when we hit the razorback, that is so cool. And it doesn't initially one-shot them, as it has a lower base damage, but it does do the ticking damage that ends up doing the final blow. So I think I honestly like this bow a lot more than just the normal bow. And we'll have to get used to using Neckla's Rage, but I think it could definitely get us out of some tight and scary predicaments. So I think that's pretty much it as far as all of the new gameplay goes. It's pretty much just going to be us going around and doing more of the same. I don't really see much of new content in here, which is, I mean, it's rather unfortunate. As I'm sniping this little razor bub, poor guy. It is rather unfortunate, though, that they're not adding new stuff in with every chapter, because that would be so cool. Imagine getting that brand new sense of exploration and wanting to explore and seeing all these new things in every single chapter. That would be incredible. All these new things that you can build, all these new things that you couldn't access in the previous chapter, and now, you know, you're leveling up and you're building up your character, whose name has yet to been mentioned. Apparently, I watched an interview today. Apparently, her name is Kara. Apparently. But not once did they mention this in the entire story, which is mind-boggling to me. That shows a little bit of disconnect with their storytelling, and I don't know. It's not a good look for me. But yeah, so expect these next few episodes, if we even have few episodes. I would assume maybe like 2 episodes left in this series. Expect them to be a rather scattered, and me showing you guys just honestly us completing chapters and moving on, and if there happens to be anything new, then that being it, man. So I apologize for the somewhat scuffed episode today. Like I said, nothing I could really do. The audio is completely fried, and hopefully we won't have to worry about that here in the near future. So hope you guys did enjoy this, and if you did, for some reason, enjoy this scuffed ass episode, leave a like, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Okay? Peace out, YouTube.